It's a Saturday afternoon in late November of 2020. I've just gone back from holiday with my family, and so I've made plans to stay at my best mate Crocker's house for the night. Our plans for this night were simple. We're going to get some beverages, cure the old green flower, sit around and vibe with our other mate Donnie, who we'd also invited. So around 4 p.m, Donnie and I both arrive. Now, I'd already organised the beverages prior to this. I got them off a fellow 18-year-old, right? So all that was left to do was to get the green flower and we were on. So we sit around for maybe 2 hours just talking, and then at around 6:15, we get the all clear from the guy who I was supposed to be getting it off to come to the park to get it off of him, right? So we walk there, I think around half an hour later we arrive, give him the money, get the green flower, and we're on our merry way, you know, no troubles there. We get back to Crocker's at around 7:15, start hooking into the bevies at around 7:30, chatting shit, you know, vibing to the music as we always would. Donnie's loving it, Crocker's loving it. Gets to around 9:30, and that's when we decide, you know, his mum's gone to bed, everything's all good. We're gonna start hooking into the green flower, right? So that's exactly what we do. We start punching the cones down, and I would say we stayed up till probably about 1 or 2 a.m. that night. It was just such a vibe, bro. I'm not condoning the use of any of this stuff by any means, but I remember Donnie was up there, like dancing, and Crocker was getting all annoyed at him because he was wrecking the music. It was funny, bro. We'd always sort of fuck with each other. Like the dynamic between us would be, both of us would, you know, look at each other and we'd either fuck with Donnie, or Donnie and I look at each other and we fuck with Crocker. So that was pretty much what we would do all night. We'd feed each other back and forth because of how cooked we were. Right, so we end up going to bed at around 2 a.m. and we wake up the next day feeling rejuvenated, you know, restored, because we'd had a little bit of a sleep in. It's a Sunday morning, got nothing to do. I spend the whole next day at Crocker's, you know, we're sort of just mucking around, doing the same stuff we were doing the night before because his mum wasn't home. And I remember this other lad from our school came around to Crocker's house, right? He didn't have any of the green flower with us, but Donnie and I ended up going home at around 4 p.m. And I remember as soon as I get back home, I'm sitting on my bed, snapping my boys, and I get a message from this kid who I didn't really speak to that often. You know, I'd spoken to him a handful of times at school, but I'd never really had much to do with him, right? And he's saying, oh, can I get a Q off you, bruh? You know, he wants to buy some off me. But obviously at the time, I only had 4 G's left. So I was hit with a bit of a dilemma here. Do I scam this kid or do I tell him no? Obviously I chose to scam him, but realistically I'm the one getting scammed, which I'll get to in a minute. Now, to give you a brief backstory here, this kid had never bought anything off me before. He knew that I had it. I always offered him to get it off me because I had good prices, but he never chose to get it off me, right? So I thought it was a little bit weird to begin with. Anyhow, I put it on the ill skaze. I put a coin underneath to make it look like it's a full Q when it's only an eighth. He says, yeah, bro, all good. I'll be there in like half an hour. So I wait about 20 minutes. And I remember just before he pulled up, I found this really weird. He sent me a photo of the money as if to say like, oh yeah, I've got the money, you should trust me. I'd never had that happen before. Like, obviously if I'm selling you something, you should have the money. But I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, okay, cool. He's got the money. So anyhow, the place that I had arranged to meet was a street that's a couple of minutes away from my house, right? So I ride my bike down there and I'm waiting there for maybe 5 or 10 minutes. And he pulls up in a car full of 5 or 6 people. Like, it was packed to the rafters full of guys, right? They would have been 18 to 20 years old. And the second he pulls up, I've got this weird feeling that something bad's about to happen, you know? I've just got this gut feeling. I don't know what it is. I just know that I'm not in the right place. Go figure, I was selling UGG trays. But anyhow, I put my bike down on the side of the road. I walk up to the side window. He says, doing, brah, you know, this and that, you know how these essays talk. And I was like, hey, brah, doing, and, you know, dap him up. He hands me the money out the window, right? I just look at it, don't think anything of it. I hand him the green flower, all good, right? But as soon as I've given it to him, they pump it away as fast as they can. I thought, oh geez, that was a bit weird. That must just be how these essay are, right? I was wrong. It could not have been further from the truth, right? As they're driving away, I pick up my bike, I ride up the road, and I'm like, oh shit, I didn't check the money just then. Usually I count the money when people have given it to me to make sure it's the right amount. So I stop, you know, I'm on my bike and I stop. I look down at it and I'm like, what the fuck? This looks a bit different. You know, I'm looking at it and it looks like $20 notes, but there's something off about it. So I unroll them. And as I'm unrolling them, I realize the mistake I've just made. I didn't do it at the window. I see a blue Chinese logo. I realize how over I've just been. This is the fakest shit I have ever witnessed before. I couldn't believe it, bro. I'm looking at these notes. Every single one was a $20 bill that had a blue Chinese logo on it and no clear window. They were fake, right? So as soon as I see this, I'm like, oh fuck, I've really just f***ed up. Because $80, bro, that's a lot of money to me at the time. That is a lot of money to any 13-year-old. Don't care what you say. So I pump it home on my bike, literally as fast as I could. I reckon I got home in probably like 30 seconds. And my brother is in the garage where I'm supposed to be putting my bike. And I say, bro, I've just been scammed. You know this kid from school? I tell him who it was. And obviously there's nothing he can do. I remember getting inside and I messaged this kid like, come back here, you little cunt. You know, you've just scammed me. Give me my money back. Give me my stuff back, sorry. And, you know, he's getting all lippy because he's with all these older boys. I would have this kid. I'm just saying, like, he would have been probably like 40 kilos, wringing wet. All these older boys end up at me on Snapchat saying, oh, you want to have a crack with him, have a crack with me. You know, they're like 18 years old, so obviously I'm saying no. But I remember telling this kid, I'll see him at school. We've still got a whole month left of school. You can't avoid me that long. But this kid was one of those kids who just would never come to school. So I'm going to say he was like an Eshe kid. He just never would come to school. His attendance would have been like 5 or 10%. Like he would come that little of an amount, right? So for the next 3 weeks, I'm on edge, you know, at school. I was constantly looking out for this kid. So every single day I'm at school, I'm messaging this kid like, I'm gonna belt you, bro. Come to school, why aren't you at school? And he tells me, oh, he missed his lift. You know, that was on the first day. Second day, he tells me he's missed his lift. Third day, stops replying. Fourth day, I stop bothering. And he doesn't show up for the whole rest of the year, right? So that was it. I was out of pocket, 80 bucks, lost all my product, didn't have any to have with my boys anymore. You know, I could have had that with my boys at the time. Not that it's a good thing, but you know, we could have had a sesh. So the lesson I suppose that I learned was don't fucking sell drugs, you know, do shit legitimately, start a legitimate business that's legal, because the issue with selling product is that you can only ever do exactly that because you're not developing a skill set. The amount of money you make is based off of the amount that you're able to sell. Whereas if you develop a skill set, the amount of money you make is based off of how good you are. And then you can outsource certain tasks to different people to start making more money. Think of it logically, think of it more long term. If you enjoyed this story and you want to hear more, hit that sub button. I'll see you in the next one. Stay grinding, bro.